Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. EMP here for I Make Plays TV, and I've been playing a lot of Rogue Company these past few weeks. The game is still in beta, and if you want to participate, the easiest way to do so is to purchase one of the Founders Editions. You can also watch Twitch streams or go over to Rogue Company's Twitter to get a code drop. I've been giving away a bunch of codes on my Twitch channel myself, trying to get more people in on this awesome game, because I'm pretty sure Hi-Rez has a hit on their hands here. I just recently hit level 60, and because this is a beta, that number doesn't really mean much besides the fact that I've played a whole lot. I've accumulated days worth of playtime and thousands of kills, so I think I'm in a good position here to drop some knowledge and share with you guys some of what I know. Last video, I dropped some tips for beginners, people who had just picked up Rogue Company and maybe needed a bit of advice as to where to get started. I mentioned in that vid that I had something coming up for the more seasoned players, and here we are. Today, I have 7 advanced tips and tricks for Rogue Company players that will help you get to the top of the leaderboard. The first tip here today is to team fire. This one is going to make you more dangerous as a unit. The guns in this game are all deadly in their own way. Single fire weapons offer high burst damage while autos chip away at an opponent at rapid speeds. It doesn't matter what you're using, if you're accurate enough you can drop bodies. The thing is, in Rogue Company you get Elim credit as long as you were able to lay some damage on an opponent somehow before they get filled full of lead. Getting the knockdown is great, but you're rewarded for actively participating in combat. This is to encourage team fire. You and your team are going to want to choose players and work together, coordinating your fire to pick them off. As a solo player, this one can be more difficult, but when queuing up as a unit, make sure to call out and make use of your ping before you take a shot. If a teammate is in a position to take the shot with you, your chances of winning that engagement go way up. Time to kill isn't very long in this game, and just a few stray shots from somewhere they're not expecting can leave an enemy spectating. The easiest way to pull this off is to take opposite corners from your team so that you can completely cover lanes. The enemy shouldn't be able to focus on one of you without dealing with the other. Some may not like it, but there are no fair ones out here in my book. The second tip for today is to listen. Listening for footsteps is a big part of modern shooters, but listening goes deeper than that. In Rogue Company, there are distinct sounds that will tip you off to the enemy's next moves. Of course you're going to want to listen out for footsteps, doing so can save your life. But you're also going to want to be listening for things like zip lines being used, the rattle of a grenade or melee weapon landing by your feet, and of course the announcer. Listening is even more important in hero shooters like this. Each character has abilities, and these abilities all make different noises. You can listen out for these tells to know what to expect for the next portion of the battle. Ronin's knife makes a very distinct noise as it hits a wall and then beeps to alert people of its presence. Scorch's flame ability makes a loud fiery charge noise as she uses it, and Shock screams like an edgelord as he charges. It's easy to get lost in conversation with your team and overlook these tells, but you'll do a lot better when you get these down. The third tip is to bait. When you get shot, like in most games these days, you go in a down but not out state. Naturally, this is to give somebody time to rescue their teammates, and that's all well and good. But you can keep this in mind anytime you down someone and think about instantly thirsting them. Confirming the kill is always smart, but sometimes it can be more advantageous to go for the big brain play and use the downed opponent to lure out his friends, who are more than likely going to want to try to help him if they're nearby. A well-placed grenade, ability, or even gunfire can turn one kill into multiple real fast. This baiting process can also apply when your teammate has just been down by an opponent who doesn't quite see you. A lot of times, you're going to want to go for the res, but many players are thirsty for their kill and will rush before you can get a res off. Sometimes it's best to use your teammate as bait when they come to confirm their kill, gun them down to make the trade. Our fourth tip, use gadgets creatively. Each character in Rogue Company has 2 different gadget options that you can buy. Usually there's a straightforward damage dealing option, but the other is a more utility option. Do not overlook these as they can be used in creative ways to help you and your team. A tear gas grenade can and should be used as area denial, but also can leave an entire team vulnerable to a firing squad as they go for a push. A smoke grenade can cut off enemy visibility down a lane, but can also cover a quick res when it would be otherwise too risky. A flashbang can give you the opportunity to get a free kill, but can also cover an escape on a flank gone wrong. Do not be afraid to spend money on a gadget that isn't dedicated to simply fragging, as they are some of the most useful in the game. Our fifth tip is a big one: knowing how to flank. This is a big one because I see people going for the flank constantly and getting destroyed every time. The big reason for this is because they're not flanking the right way. First and foremost, there should only be one flanker on the team. That means if you see someone else going for the flank, you have a role to play that's equally important and you need to stay on the front lines. There's no point in you going for the flank with them. That flanker should be buying specifically to flank. That means abilities like cloak that stop them from being revealed, upgrades that suppress their fire, and melee weapons to get off quick kills. If your character doesn't have perks that lend to a flank build, you probably shouldn't be flanking. Timing is the biggest factor in any flank and the reason why most flanks fail. The misconception is that you can leave the team and go around the back as a lone wolf, and sometimes that works, but most times what'll happen is that you'll shoot one guy and the rest of the team will swivel around and kill you. What you're going to want to do is flank when your team is pushing and making the most noise, when they're drawing the most aggro. The enemy team should be engaged in a firefight so that you can take them by surprise. That means your team has to function a man down while you move to your position. Make sure you tell them you're flanking. They need to be aware of their handicap and try to stay alive as long as it takes for you to get where you need to be. This is why Lancer is so good at flanking. Her ability allows her to get into position faster than any other rogue, so your team is fighting a man down for as little time as possible. If your team folds, that may not be the best time for the flank. In StrikeOut, you may want to find a safe place and wait for your team to push up and make more noise. Revealing yourself too early after your team wipes can leave you in a good position to get jumped by the enemy team. Our sixth tip is StrikeOut specific: do not stagger. What that means is after dying, you don't want to trickle in without teammates there to back you up, leaving the enemy team open to team firing you without consequence. A team that's doing this over and over can quickly find themselves without lives and losing rounds. This is called feeding. Instead, wait a moment and regroup with your team so that you can coordinate a push for the point. Our last tip is to watch and learn. There are some really good players out there and you're going to run into them from time to time. These people are going to beam you from across the map or place a claymore in a spot that you would have never expected. They're going to take a corner that you would have never thought of taking or use the environment to make a jump you thought was maybe impossible. The only way to learn a lot of these strategies and secrets is to watch someone else do it. I can tell you how many times I've been in a game and fallen victim to something wild that I didn't know was a thing or just couldn't see coming, only to use that in the very next game to wreck someone. Gamers are amazing and they're always going to want to push the limits on whatever games they can get their hands on. As this game gets bigger and some of the pros decide to try it out, they're going to be doing things that we'll be emulating to up our game. There you have it, 7 advanced tips and tricks for the more seasoned Rogue Company player. This week Hi-Rez has some big things planned for the community, and so do I. I have a couple of different guide videos in the works, as well as a couple of other Rogue Company related vids I'm working on as well. I've been playing Hyperscape, so I'll be doing what you need to know video on that. And of course, Apex Season 6 is dropping very soon too. All of that and more are going to be covered here on I Make Plays TV. If you want to see me make plays live, go over to my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrEyeMakePlays. Follow me on social media. The links to everything will be down in the description. Keep it locked here so that you can make plays like me. If you like the content, drop a like, comment, maybe even subscribe. Talk to you later, guys, for more Rogue Company content.